Hello, and today we have Rebel versus Rebel, Paul and Blair. Paul is going to be playing Luke Skywalker with R2-D2, Draw Their Fire, Corran Horn with Predator, and Wes Jensen with Veteran Instincts. Blair will be taking Ethan Abarth with Advanced Sensors with his 5 Talos Squadron pilots. As you can see, we've already set up the table, Blair on the right and Paul on the left. Already into the first manoeuvres with the dials being placed and first lot of the Talos Squadrons moving into position. Now one of the quirks of this particular squadron is that because it has PS4 for all the Talos Squadrons, the Predator on Corran Horn doesn't get the additional die roll, which is turns out to be quite influential in the game. Yeah, as you can see, we're just sort of going through the motions with the first manoeuvres. First row nice and clean, nice and straight. Next 3 not so much, as you'll see. You see here that Paul is just going to move his ships just to save some time. There won't be any engagement on the first turn. As with my previous video, I've edited out all of the dial setting, so once the ships have finished moving, it'll jump to the next set of manoeuvres. And there we go. Next set of manoeuvres coming up. The front line of the Talos Squadron moving up. Going to start flying through the asteroids at this point, so got a couple there that will be able to make their way through nice and clean, just a couple of straight forwards there, and this is where it starts to get messy. Banking off to the right there, there'll be some bumping and grinding, but again, no actions as yet, simply because there won't be any engagement. Paul's squad of the 2 X-Wings and the E-Wing were just crept forward in their first movements, waiting to see what Etan and his Z95 squadron were going to do, so it's just sitting on it for the time being. Here we have Etan making the final manoeuvre for Blair's squadron. And Etan just managing to squeeze in there, so didn't bump, so he gets a focus token for his efforts. So we've got Wedge and Corran Horn coming around the corner. Corran just deciding whether he's going to make his action. Possibly going to be a barrel roll, I believe. As you can see, I'm already resetting my dials for the next move, just so that we can forge further on into the engagement. He does indeed decide to go with the barrel option for Corran on that one. And then we will have Wes moving as the final position. And there we go, jumping to the end of the dials, so we have more of the Z95s moving into position, flying around the asteroids as it were. And as you can see, we've got the first 2 with the 3 bank to the left, a couple of focus tokens for them. There's a very good chance that there's going to be firing coming up, however they're probably out of range to take a target lock, though with Wes Jensen on the opposing team, there's always a good chance that you will end up without one of your tokens somewhere along the line. The 2 front Z95s just crawling through, just they'll be taking some focuses, and then we have the last Z95 just banking in behind his front row team, and then followed shortly behind with Etan about bringing up the rear. Everyone's taking focus at this stage, even with middle of the range PS of 5 and lots of 4s. I'm still moving all of my ships before Paul with his 919 PS squadron. So here we have Luke, I believe, coming in and just moving in behind. No, the asteroid there. Then here we're taking his action, which is a focus. And then we have Corin Horn making his movements. Also taking a focus, I believe. Hopefully, with the wide array of Z95s, I should be able to get shots on my main target. I've prioritised attacking Luke at this stage just because of the R2-D2 and the draw their fire. It's not ideal, but because of Wes's location, I can't get focus fire on him with my entire squad, so I chose to go after Luke. I believe that Wes is about to shoot first here, just trying to decide which ones are in range and actually in arc. And we had a bit of a discussion here as to whether these in the middle there are actually in Wes's arc, and I believe that the determination was that yes they are, and at range 2. So as you can see there, Paul pointing out which one he's going to be shooting at. He rolls a whole lot of blanks on that one, but I roll some dice and spend my focus just to deny him the opportunity to strip it away. Then we have Luke firing, and got some hits there, some focus, but it appears that rolled 2 naked dodges, and he lives to fight another day. Corin firing at the same target again, manages to score some damage. I believe removing both shields from that particular Tala Squadron pilot. So, return fire. Etan making a decision to fire at Luke, I believe. Just going to check range. I believe that it was very close. Not quite sure if it was range 2 or 3. Determination was that they were both parallel, so closest point to closest point was not through the asteroid. Just some debate here as to whether or not Luke is the right target to put focus fire on, but I believe that that was my decision in the end. Speeding to the focus there, but as the case may be, yes, it was certainly range 3 with Luke rolling 3 dice, so no damage dealt at that point. Then we have the 5 Tala Squadron pilots all firing at Luke. And again, Luke's internal ability saving him once again. There we have 1 damage sneaking through onto Luke. We have more Tala Squadron pilots throwing their fire at Luke at this stage. Again, Luke's free ability saving him once more. And we have the last remaining Tala Squadrons just checking range, I believe. And indeed checking arc. And I believe it was determined that yes, we did have arc. There's Luke saving more damage yet again. And then we have our final Tala Squadron pilot. Justin just squeaking into range 3, firing off another shot, spinning his focus, and again Luke's ability triggering and saving him. So not a whole lot of damage dealt in that range, in that round. Here we go, jumping forward yet again. Maneuvers. So as you can see here, some Tala Squadron pilots moving into some K-turns, anticipating that there's going to be some forward movement on behalf of the opposing rebel squadron. Just moving in here, just to try and create some blocking maneuvers as well. We'll just take a focus. Here we have another Tala Squadron pilot threading the needle, as it were, flying in and sidling right up next to Corin Horn there, in his sneaky little parking spot. Again, trying to get some blocking maneuvers in for the 3 ships. Action denial seems to be quite a key element of this particular squad. This particular maneuver here, possibly not the best. Leave some comments below. Probably wasn't my best maneuver. Let me know what you think. And then we have the last Tala Squadron coming in with his blocking maneuver on Luke. He's just going to bump into his own Tala Squadron, but the intent here is to get a block on Luke, and it's precariously close to an asteroid. So we have Etan just slowly crawling up with the one straight. He'll take his focus and wait for his turn. So we have Luke, who going to try and bank in, but again there's not much there, not much room for him to go. So just having a bit of debate as to how best to figure it out. Get the template in there. We've got Luke moving along the template, and indeed it would seem that dear Luke Skywalker is parking on an asteroid, which is not the best. It's going to roll for a damage, see what happens. Takes the damage, and so that will be Luke's final shield down, I believe. Now we've got moving on to Corin Horn. Just some more discussion here as to whether that was a particularly good blocking manoeuvre or not. I cannot quite remember, but I believe that we were just debating and consulting the FAQ here as to when R2-D2 triggers, and there is one instance where I believe if you're flying over proximity mines, you take the damage before the R2-D2 green maneuver triggers. So wasn't relevant here, but we're just consulting them anyway. So there we have Corin Horn making his one forward, but into the furball he goes, just bumping. So again, more actions being denied, whilst having a few Tala Squadrons in at range 1. Hopefully, and indeed, here we have Wes making the same problem. He's going to be flying into the furball, as it were, and losing his action. So we'll have Wes up first, trying to take out one of the Tala Squadrons, I believe, at this point. Just debating as to which one he wants to shoot at. As a couple of my guys do have focus, but whether he wants to attack the ship that's already taken a couple of damage, try and clear one off the board, as it were. So there's a bit of debate from Paul going on here. attack dice with his reroll. So I can't quite remember what happened there, but believe that was the end of one Talos Squadron. Yes, that was indeed 4 hits to a fully laden Talos Squadron pilot, and he just got blown out of the sky. So we now have shots being fired at the Talos Squadron on the far right there, spending the focus, but I believe taking a couple of hits in the process, so he's losing both of his shields. So now, obviously with Luke having parked on the asteroid, he's not going to be shooting, so it now falls to me. So we have Ethan Abart firing with a focus at Luke, and of course just taking into account Ethan's own effects on himself, scoring another crit. And that would be Luke just completely whiffing, taking 3 damage and exiting the field. So a big blow there for Paul. Now on to the 4 remaining Talos Squadron pilots. I think at this point focus fire was determined that easiest target to take down was Wes with the reduced agility. So with, I believe there's only 1 pilot. The other 3 have all done K-turns. So there's only 1 Talos Squadron that's actually managing to get some attacks in. So spending, no, it must have been two Talos Squadron pilots. Scoring a couple of damage, and but not enough. There we go. Jumping forward again. So here we go. We have some manoeuvres. One thing that's really started to throw me off with the Z95 is that its green bank manoeuvre is actually a 2 rather than a 1. So here we have a Talos Squadron attempting to make a 2 bank. It was determined that it was very close, but the pilot was not going to make it, so bumping into my own friendly Z95 there, although that was the intention. Here we have just moving 1 forward to shed the stress on this particular pilot. Now I had actually made a mistake here. The pilot behind him was actually supposed to go before him, so he'd bump into him, but as it was, I'd made the move, so we moved to the next pilot. Again, doing a 1 forward just to shed the stress, but also create a few more blocking opportunities so that Ethan might be able to come around and shoot at Wes or Corran Horn without any focus. Here we have just doing a straight 2, just flying in, just again to create a few more bumping opportunities. Yeah, bumping the mini there, but it's fine. Back into position, and then we have Ethan. So he's activating his advanced sensors. He's going to barrel roll backwards. And then come around with his 1 bank, and much to my horror, poor old Ethan, just by the skin of the nub on the front of his ship, he parks on the asteroid, much to my disappointment, and indeed rolls a damage. So only fair that Luke took a damage when he flew through an asteroid. So Etan has done the same. So now we have Corran Horn attempting to make his manoeuvre. As Paul flips it over, it is indeed a one straight, but due to where my ship is, Corran Horn is going absolutely nowhere in this particular turn. And indeed, Wes Jansen making a similar move and only inching forward only a few slight millimeters and crashing into the back of his own Corran Horn. Sorry, that was Wes Jansen. So we've got Wes up first, and he's got range 1 on quite a few of the Z95s, and indeed on the stranded Etan Abarth. Just trying to decide what ships need to he likely wants to take damage from, which ones he wants to strip tokens from. There's a bit more debate here as to which ships have taken damage already and which ships are in a position to best attack in the next turn or two. So there we go, he's made his decision. He's range 1 at the Talos Squadron.
I don't know, neither one's great, but...
So he rolls his dice.
Yep.
Oh, so there must have been Corran Horn firing, sorry. So we have a couple more damage coming through. And we have 2 hits. And 2 evades, so no damage coming from that attack. So obviously Etan is not going to be attacking, but we have a range 1 attack, spending the focus and taking some damage. That was against Wes, and that is a critical that reduces his pilot skill to 0. So he'll be moving first and shooting last, should he survive, of course. So I believe that was the only single shot that was offered by my 4 tilers, with 3 of them not having any shots available this turn. We just Paul's just decided that he wants to activate Corran Horn's ability, and just putting the focus back after we'd taken them away. So Corran Horn is firing for the second time this turn, and spending a focus, but I believe in doing so still managing to deal enough damage to take out that Z. So quite a nice usage of Corran's ability there. As you can just see, we're using a Phantom Cloaking token to indicate that Corran cannot shoot this next turn. Probably something they should have thought of, perhaps, to add something in, some sort of token or item to show that Corran has attacked and cannot attack the next turn. So, on to moving. We have Wes moving at pilot skill 0, obviously, so he's flying through. Manages to manages just to squeeze in, I believe, and then we have a Z95 K-turning in front of him. Then we have another Z95. He too will be K-turning, I believe. Yeah, coming in behind Corran Horn there. He will be stressed. And then we have our third remaining Talos Squadron pilot turning in hard. Probably misjudged that one just a little bit, bumping into Wes in that instant. Here we have Ethan Abarth, and he will be using his advanced sensors to roll away from the asteroid rather than having to fly through it once again. He rolls off to the side, then performs his two to the right, nicely slotting in behind Wes Jansen at range 1 there. And then our last movement is from Corin Horn. Obviously this turn not being able to attack, so he turns the jet boosters on and performs a 5 straight. And just deciding what ability that Corin Horn would like to do. Just trying to decide whether he wants to boost or barrel roll to get out of arc, but ends up taking an evade, I believe, as it were. So moving on to firing. Obviously Corin Horn, his special ability is not going to be firing this turn, so we have Ethan Abarth, range 1 behind Wes Jansen, and turning a hit into a crit, so we've got 2 hits and a crit. That'll be some damage for Mr. Wes Jansen, and indeed that was enough to remove him from the board. So Corin Horn flying all alone against Ethan Abarth and the 3 remaining Z95 Talos squadrons. So we've a range 3 shot from Far Taylor shooting at Corin, just deciding whether or not Corin's in Ethan's firing arc for changing critical hits. And yeah, Paul just spends his token there to avoid some damage. And we have 1 remaining Taylor right next to Ethan, and no damage. Here we go, moving on to our next movement phase. We've obviously Wes Jansen and his Pilot School 0 off the board, so back to the 3 remaining Talos squadrons moving first. Now some pre-planning here, so just going to take a target lock with the first Talos squadron there, and unknowing what Corin Horn's going to be doing, so can take some locks and shedding the stress there, and hopefully plan to get lock and focus with the Z95s against Corin Horn, just because of their reduced attack, obviously. So here we go again, another remaining Talos squadron shedding a stress with a 2 bank, bumping into his fellow squadron pilot. And then just going to have Corin Horn come in here, so Paul's just going to mark the Talos squadron there. Corin getting a bit eager, Ethan getting a bit eager with his manoeuvres, and ends up bumping into the back of the Talos squadrons. So we have all of Blair's ships moved, and then Paul will be performing, I believe it was a 3K in this instance, just to get around. Now obviously Paul's ship is stressed there, but didn't take an action at this point, taking a a range 2 shot at the closest Tala squadron there, and dealing some damage to it, but not quite enough to remove it from the table. Now obviously Etan returning fire. The Tala squadron spending his target lock and managing to score a damage. So just eking away at the at Corran Horn. I believe at this stage he's only got 1 hit point left. Moving on to next movement phase. We have Tala squadron just pulling in here. Not quite sure where Corran Horn's going to be going. As you can see, his stress token has appeared, but again, not sure where he's going. So take a target lock for future use. We have another Tala squadron pilot forming a K-turn, just going the wrong direction. So bringing it back around, setting up for the next manoeuvres, possibly getting a naked shot on Corran, depending on where he flies this turn. We have the remaining 3rd Tala squadron pilot just shooting forward 4. Again, taking focus, really trying to gum up the board here for the for Corran to get denied some actions. And we've got Etan just flying in the back there, so a nice big wall for these ships to create a blocking manoeuvre. One of my first times using advanced sensors, so Paul was kind enough to allow me to put my focus in after flying in. So as stated, seems my blocking manoeuvre has worked. So E-wing flying in, obviously green manoeuvre, shedding the stress, but obviously crashing into the Tala squadron. So Paul deciding whether or not Corran Horn is going to shoot at anyone. Anticipating which target is better. I believe he may not have actually bumped us very, very close there. Some of the Tala squadrons in front of him, I believe, have received some damage, and indeed, technically shouldn't have been. Just checking whether or not the Tala on the edge there actually has arc on him. So we go range 1 shot with his 1 reroll. And I believe that was in fact 4 hits. So definitely some damage being dealt to one of the Tala squadron pilots there. Not quite enough. Oh no, indeed, there we go. Enough to actually remove him from the board. So 1 more down for Corran Horn, only 3 to go. So we have some return fire. We've got that's 1 hit and 3 blanks from Etan. So Corran manages to dodge that handily. And then we have the last Z95 shooting at range 2, I believe. And indeed just getting the crit upturn from Corran's ability, but not getting any damage through. And indeed, we do have the last Z95 at range 1, spending his target lock, and just getting 2 damage, 1 crit being kicked up. but again, Corran Horn managing to dodge all the damage. Moving on to Corran Horn deciding to shoot at Ethan Abart with his special ability. Obviously Corran not expending his focus, prematurely taking it away, so Paul fires it away, and some more damage being dealt there, but not quite enough to finish him off, so he's good to go. So again, just denoting Corran's special ability that he won't be firing again next turn. And indeed getting a what we got here? Just Z95 shedding some stress, hopefully performing blocking maneuver for Corran possibly, but again taking a target lock, just trying to maximise value for action economy. We've got second remaining Taylor Squadron is just doing a K turn, and he's getting a stress, carrying a critical. Not quite sure what that critical is, unfortunately. And then indeed Ethan Abart performing his K turn, and indeed once again forgetting to activate advanced senses. But again, Paul was kind enough to allow me to take that focus token. And then we have Ethan again with his ability not being able to fire this turn. Shoots forward a straight 5 and manages to barrel roll out of arc of the remaining Z95 that was at range 1. So managing to negate the disadvantage of not being able to fire this turn, and indeed being out of range of both Ethan and his sidekick. So moving on to the next set of manoeuvres. So we have the Z95 already carrying a target lock on Ethan. He will take a focus. He's a target lock and a focus, and then we have another second remaining Z95 just performing a 2 straight there, just shedding the stress. And, rolling a die, so critical must have been reduced weapon or some effect that was rolled and it was negated, so it's gone. And then obviously Ethan making his 3 straight green manoeuvre to shed his stress. And there's a good chance that Corran will be out of range after he moves, so whilst he can, Ethan will take the target lock and hope to make use of it in a later stage. And then we have Corran Horn performing a 3K, so just getting back around, trying to make sure that he can get some shots on, so making sure he's got his two target lock tokens there and receiving stress. So Corran will fire at range 2, I believe it was. Indeed, gets his 1 reroll, and Z95 manages to get 1 dodge, but will take a critical, and that particular critical provides a reduced agility. Not quite the critical that Paul was hoping for, but nevertheless we have return fire. So we have Ethan Abart is just not quite getting there at range 3, so we have the final Z shooting with his focus and target lock, scoring 2 damage, and indeed managing to squeeze through 1 last damage, or 2 damage, sorry, and that will be the end of Corran Horn. So there you go, the defeat, or a rebel victory as it were. So just a quick wrap up. yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with how the EZ Swarm went. In other games I have tested Etan's ability, and it seems that particularly against a Imperial Squadron, the extra critical effects from Etan is actually quite relevant. But I think for today's match it wasn't so relevant. I think there was one, maybe two crits that Etan inflicted, but certainly Wes's reduced pilot skill did come into effect, so it was certainly the effect was well worth it. But I suppose the question is for 38 points, whether or not you could sub out Etan for something else. You know, it could be I've seen a couple of other full Z95 lists where you're running Aaron Kraken with six fellow Z95s, but yeah, as I said, leave some questions or comments in the comments below, and thanks for watching.